All right, this is Ubaid on behalf of V Electronics, and in this video, we'll be talking about comparative advantage and production possibilities frontier. All right, now just before we move into production possibilities frontier, okay, let's summarize absolute and comparative advantage. All right, so we know that absolute advantage, and this is absolute. This has to do with how much of something is required to produce something. Okay, so let's say how much of resources are required to produce something. So this is absolute advantage. Okay, how much of resources are required to produce something? Now the comparative advantage on the other side, and this is comparative. So the comparative advantage on the other side has to do with, okay, how much are you willing to give up to produce something? So this has to do with opportunity cost. Okay, so how much are you willing to give up? Are you willing, or is a country willing to give up to produce something? All right, so this is the difference between absolute and comparative. All right, so when it comes to your production possibilities frontier, okay, if you look at two countries, let's say country A versus country B. And let's assume that country A specializes in a certain good or product. Let's say country A specializes in precious metals. Okay, so let's say country A, okay, will need 50 workers, excuse me, will need 50 workers over here. So 50 workers to mine gold and silver because of technology, because of the kind of tools they have, because of the access to resources, natural resources, okay, the kind of terrain they have, so on and so forth. So they need 50 workers to mine gold and silver, whereas country B also has gold and silver, but they will need 100 workers to mine gold and silver. Okay, because of the kind of tools they have. Okay, so on and so forth. Country B could be a developing economy. Okay, it could be growing at a fast rate. Okay, a faster rate than country A, but country A may be a developed economy with high income, with high capital investment. So high capital investment in equipment and tools, as a result of which it requires less workers to mine the same amount of precious metals compared to your country B or company B. Okay, this is a company, this is company A, company B. Okay, compared to company B, company A is able to do task okay, with fewer workers. Okay, so the cost of production may be less for company A compared to company B, or country A versus country B. All right, now if you compare another product, okay, let's say this is precious metals, and let's say both the countries are also involved in drilling for oil. Okay, so we're talking about oil over here. And country A might require, okay, 20 workers to produce 1 barrel of oil, while country B may require 50 workers to produce the same barrel of oil. Okay, country A may have easy access to oil. It may be on the surface, while country B may have vast amount of resources, may have vast reserves of oil. However, this could be crude, which means it may be way below the surface of this planet. Okay, which means they would need a lot of tools, equipment, um, a drilling equipment to get access to those reserves. Okay, so as a result of which, okay, your country A, the cost of production is less. It requires fewer workers to produce the same barrel of oil as country B. All right. So in this case, you have 50 workers for country B and 20 workers for country A. Okay, let's take another product. Okay, so in this case, let's compare shoes. Now, in terms of shoes, okay, it's possible that because shoes may require less capital investment in general, okay, country A will require 10 workers to produce 1 shoe, whereas country B may require 11 workers to produce the same um, quantity of shoes. Okay, so in this case, even though country B is still producing shoes with more workers, the disadvantage that the country has, or company has, as compared to the disadvantage it has when it comes to production of oil, okay, as well as precious metals, mining of precious metals such as gold and silver, which means that company or country B can go ahead and specialize in producing shoes, whereas country A or company A can go ahead and specialize in mining for precious metals and drilling for oil. Okay, so this way, because of the comparative advantage, okay, and because of specialization, the global economy profits. Global economy profits. And the reason why global economy might profit is because both these countries do have limited resources. They have a limited amount of labor. Okay, they do not have indefinite amount of labor, and because they have limited amount of labor, they're better off trading goods and services, goods and products, rather than trying to produce all the products by themselves. Okay, they will trade the product, they will export the product, um, for which it has a comparative advantage, and they will import the product for which it has a disadvantage. Now, in this case, even though country B has a disadvantage for all these 3 categories, okay, the disadvantage when it comes to producing shoes is less than the disadvantage it has when it comes to producing oil and precious metals. As a result of which country B may be better off specializing in production of shoes and exporting shoes to import oil and precious metals. All right, so this is how the global economy works, how trade works in general. On behalf of V Electronics, this is Obey. Have yourself a great day.